Hey there, travel friends, and welcome back to the Traveling Cheesehead Podcast. I'm your host, Dannelle Gay, and today we're tackling something that might not sound glamorous, but trust me, it's one of the smartest travel decisions you'll ever make. That's right, we're talking about travel insurance, what it is, why you need it, when to get it, and even what kind might be your travel style and fit best. Now, before your eyes glaze over, hear me out, because if you've ever thought, I'm healthy, I'm careful, and my credit card has me covered, you might be in for a surprise. This isn't just theoretical advice either. I've lived it twice with my family. So yes, let's just talk about the two-country kidney stone saga. We're starting with a little story here. My husband, bless his kidneys, has managed to have not one, but two kidney stones while abroad. The first time we were in Mexico. The second, France. When it happens once, you chalk it up to bad luck. When it happens twice, you start carrying extra water and a serious insurance plan. Now, if you've never had a kidney stone, it's been compared to worse than childbirth, knives stabbing you in your lower back and constantly twisting. I've had one. I don't ever wish one on you, but this is just a good example of what may or may not happen. So, when the first one hit in Mexico, we were in a small town, not a big tourist area, and getting help wasn't going to be a simple thing. You're thinking out of country, think language barriers, cultural barriers, and let's be honest, there's a fair bit of panic because when it hurts, boy, does it hurt. You can call the number on your travel insurance card, and within 30 minutes, you can have a bilingual nurse on the line, a hospital recommendation, and insurance that everything will be billed directly to the insurer. Now, 2 years later, déjà vu, we're stuck in France and the same thing happened. Except this time, it's even more impressive. The insurance covers hospital costs and a nurse escort for the first class flight home for the patient. All right, so me not being the patient, I'm stuck back in coach, but at least the patient going home is in comfort. So here's the kicker. Most United States health insurance plans do not cover international care, and even fewer cover medical evacuation. Without that travel insurance, nurse first class seat would have cost more than the entire trip, and definitely more than the insurance coverage. So, let's talk about what travel insurance actually covers. It's basically your safety net for the unexpected. It's designed to cover what regular insurance, credit card, or airline simply can't or won't. Here's what's typically included with your trip protection. Now, that's what most people think of first. What if I have to cancel coverage? If you or a family member gets sick before departure, if your flight is canceled because of weather, if there's a sudden emergency that keeps you home, travel insurance reimburses your non-refundable expenses. We're talking flights, hotels, tours, cruises, all of these fun things. And it's not just for you getting sick. It can include travel companions, family members, or even if something horrible like life happening, like your house catches on fire. Again, never wish this on any of you, ever. The second thing that travel insurance can cover is medical. This is the biggie. Most private health insurance plans, even the expensive ones, stop covering you the minute you cross an international border. Travel medical insurance fills that gap for you. It'll cover emergency room visits abroad, ambulance rides, hospital stays and surgeries, prescription medications, emergency dental care, and most importantly, medical evacuation. That evacuation piece is critical. If you break your leg hiking in Iceland or get sick on a cruise, getting you home safely is incredibly expensive, often $30,000 to $50,000 American. With travel insurance, that's handled. Some even include air ambulance coverage. They literally send a medical plane. This is so important because if you sat there and you went to your airline, let's say you're working with Air France, and you say, we have to get my husband home. He's got a kidney stone. They're not going to give you flights. They're going to ban you until that stone passes. The insurance is what's going to help you. They don't want an accident in the air or to have to land that plane because of a medical issue. This is where your travel insurance is saving your fanny because you'll be stuck in that country until the stone passes and there's proof of it. Talk about really extending your stay. Okay, the third thing your travel insurance can cover is your baggage and your belongings. Lost luggage happens more than airlines admit. I mean, let's face it. There are some stores in the United States that they sell lost luggage and the contents. You can buy suitcases, people's clothes, souvenirs, whatever, because things weren't bagged and tagged correctly and didn't end up where it was supposed to be. So this insurance covers lost, stolen, or damaged baggage. It takes care of delayed luggage, so reimbursing for toiletries, clothes that you have to buy, all of that kind of a thing. Some policies even cover your camera, laptop, travel gear. So check your plan if you're a content creator or a photographer. You have to know what make and model and have a receipt. You can't say, I have this $3,000 brand new flash card without having proof that you had that $3,000 brand new flash card. I personally like to take a picture of all of my gear that we use, and then that's up on the cloud so I can prove that that's exactly the make, the model, whatever that we had. Okay, there is trip delay or interruption covered on your travel insurance. So imagine your flight from Milwaukee to London gets delayed overnight, or your connecting flight home from Italy gets canceled due to the weather. The airlines don't have to cover that. They don't have to put you up in a hotel. They don't have to give you meal vouchers. Weather is the weather. It's not their problem. Travel insurance can cover your meals, hotels, transport to catch up on your trip, or even home again. And if it's a family emergency calling you home mid-trip, the coverage reimburses the unused portion of your trip and the new flight home. Now let's talk about the last thing here is disaster and emergency evacuation. This one doesn't get enough attention. Some policies cover evacuations in the case of national disasters. Think earthquakes, hurricanes, wildfires, tsunamis. I mean, look at what just fairly recently happened to Jamaica and how people had to get the heck out of Dodge. I mean, who wants to be there in the middle of a Category 5 hurricane? How about political unrest? You think you're in a safe location, going to somewhere that's safe, and all of a sudden there's a coup or student revolt that causes a whole change of government. So nobody wants to have a vacation or be in the middle of a situation where there's political unrest and they need to be taken out. Even terrorism, that's covered. So if your destination becomes unsafe in any way, the insurer can help you get out fast, arranging transportation and covering the cost. Now, COVID and pandemics, this is a fairly new thing that many modern policies have now got pandemic-related options added in. If illness causes trip disruption or borders close mid-travel, some plans will reimburse the cost or help you return home. Always check the fine print. These rules have changed a lot post-2020. So that tells you what all of this can cover and how it can protect your hiney. Here's the big thing. When do you buy it? Timing is everything. Here's the big rule. Buy early. The moment you book that flight or make your first deposit, that's when you get your travel insurance. Why? Because you'll unlock the maximum coverage, especially for a pre-existing medical condition. Most companies will give you a 14 to 21 day window after your first booking to qualify for that. Wait too long and it's considered pre-existing, meaning you will not get covered. No way, no how. Plus, if a storm gets named, like Hurricane Debbie, or a volcano erupts, it's no longer an unforeseen event, which means insurance won't cover it if you buy it after the fact. So don't wait. Get it while your travel plans are still bright, shiny, and new. Because if something happens like that volcano or a named hurricane, you're going to be stuck after the fact. It's too late. Now, a lot of people have that option. Do we get this every single trip, or do we go with like an annual plan? This is where frequent travelers, like many of us, can save big. Per trip plans are ideal if you travel once or twice a year. They're straightforward and cover everything related to that specific trip. Annual or multi-trip plans, on the other hand, cover all of your travels for 12 months. You usually pick a home country, a max trip length, say 45 days, and you're covered for unlimited adventures in that time period. It's perfect for frequent flyers, travel writers, business travelers, or anyone constantly packing their carry-on. And get this, many credit cards, especially travel ones, offer basic travel protection, but it's rarely enough for medical emergencies or evacuations. I mean, it's better than nothing, but it's not a replacement for real coverage. Okay, what does it cost? Usually figure between 4 to 10% of your total trip cost, and that includes medical coverage. Let's say that your trip cost $5,000. You're looking at roughly $200 to $500 for complete peace of mind. Now that's less than the cost of a fancy dinner or a missed flight, and it could save you tens of thousands if something goes wrong. So we're going to talk Irma. Irma, my standard lady who does tours with me. That's not her real name. I've protected it for the innocent. So let's say that Irma travels with me a lot, and every trip he gets the travel insurance. And after about 8 trips, Irma's like, you know what? I have never needed that travel insurance. And Irma doesn't opt for it on one trip. Wouldn't you know it? That's the trip that Irma broke her leg, needed to have special work done on it because she also has a little osteoporosis. So she needs special setting and pins and things like that done with her leg. So darn it, Irma now needs medical evacuation. Ooh-wee, Irma doesn't have the travel insurance, and we were out of country. Don't be Irma. Bless Irma, and on that tour, everybody else chipped in to help get Irma out what she couldn't use on her credit card to do that, and Irma has repaid people, but don't be Irma. Don't have all of that out of pocket. Have that peace of mind. It's really not that expensive in the long run. Now, what it doesn't cover is important to know also. Even the best policies have limits. Here's what's usually not covered. Injuries from reckless activities like cliff diving or unlicensed scooter rentals. So you do something stupid, it's not going to cover you. How about alcohol or drug-related incidents? This means don't get really intoxicated when you're on the second layer of a Mardi Gras parade float and fall off of it. You're not going to be covered. Don't travel to high-risk or sanctioned countries. We've already talked about political unrest and things like that. Don't go when you already know it's happening. And then there's I just don't feel like going anymore. All right. That's not covered unless you get the cancel for any reason, also known as CFAR, upgrade, which covers about 75% of your costs if you just don't feel like going anymore. CFAR is pricey, but if you're booking a major trip far in advance and the whole world is unpredictable, hello, it always is, it might be worth it. Okay, how do you choose a plan? Oh, that's very important to know. When comparing policies, these are the things to look at. Medical evacuation limit. You want it to be at least $100,000, but ideally $250,000 plus. Emergency medical coverage. Internationally, you want at least $50,000. Trip cancellation coverage, equal to what you've prepaid for your trip. You want it to have a 24/7 assistance line. This is a must. You want to reach a real human anytime, anywhere. You never want to have to leave a message, or I hate all of those. For English, press 1. In Europe, press 2. If you're in Asia, press 3. If you're in, okay, now if this is life-threatening, press 4. If you want to do, no. I want a live person, and so do you. And then you want to look at adventure coverage. If you plan to ski, dive, or hike somewhere that's a little more challenging. Now, don't just buy the first thing you see at checkout when booking a flight. Airlines often mark up minimal policies that don't cover enough. I will link in the show notes the company that I personally like to work with. Now, look into dedicated companies like Alliance, Travel Guard, World Nomads, Seven Corners, GeoBlue. Well, that's for long-term medical coverage abroad. But you really want to do your homework here and find something that you're comfortable with and then use that going forward. Okay, final thoughts here. Let's talk about peace of mind as your ultimate souvenir. Here's the thing, folks. You don't buy travel insurance because you expect a disaster. You buy it because travel, by its nature, comes with the unknowns. From my husband's kidney stone saga to friends stuck overseas after canceled flights, I have seen it all. And each time, travel insurance turned a crisis into just an inconvenience, not a financial catastrophe. When you're halfway across the world, it's comforting to know that you're not alone. Someone, somewhere, will pick up the phone and say, "Don't worry, we've got you." Because as I like to say, it's better to be prepared and not need it than to need it and not have it. Thanks for tuning in to the Traveling Cheesehead podcast. If this episode gave you a little peace of mind, share it with your favorite travel buddy, especially the one who always says, "Oh, it'll be fine." Follow me on Instagram and Facebook at The Traveling Cheesehead. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories, tips, and travel smarts from the road. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and travel safe out there, my friends.